Chapter 5. Zoe trudged even more reluctantly than usual to school the next morning. Ginger Nut was dead, and with that all her dreams had died too. As Zoe walked out of the estate, Tina flobbed on the little girl's head as she always did. And she was wiping the flob out of her frizzy hair with a page ripped out from one of her exercise books. Zoe saw Dad crouched over by the tiniest patch of the grass. He appeared to be digging with his hands. He turned around quickly as if in shock. "Hello, my love." "What are you doing?" said Zoe. She leaned over him to see what he was up to and saw that the little package containing Ginger Nut was laid on the ground next to a mound of earth. "Don't tell your mum." "Stepmum?" "Don't tell your stepmum, but I fished the little fella out of the bin." "Oh, Dad." Sheila's still asleep, snoring away. "I don't think she heard anything. Ginger meant so much to you. I just wanted to give him, a proper burial." Zoe smiled for a moment, and somehow she found herself crying too. "Oh, Dad, thank you so much. No word of this to that tough, or she'll murder me." "Oh, of course not." Zoe knelt down beside him, picked up the little package and lowered Ginger Nut into the small hole her father had dug. "I even got one of these off the headstone. One of the lollipop sticks from the factory." Zoe took out her chewed biro from her pocket and scribbled Ginger Nut on the stick, though there wasn't really room for it. T, so it just read Ginger Nut with T missing. Dad filled in the hole and they stood back and looked at the little grave. "Thanks, Dad. You're the best." Now Dad was crying. "What's the matter?" asked Zoe. "I'm not the best. I'm so sorry, Zoe, but I will get another job one day. I know I will." "Dad, a job doesn't matter. I just want you to be happy. I don't want to see you like this." Dad started walking away. Zoe pulled one arm. She took it out of her grasp and walked back to the tower block. "Come and meet me at the school gates later, Dad. We can go to the park. And you can put me on your shoulders. I used to love that. Don't cost a thing." "Sorry, I'll be in the pub. Have a good day at school," he shouted without looking back. He was hiding his sadness from his daughter like he always did. Zoe could feel her stomach screaming in hunger. There'd been no dinner last night as Sheila had spent all her benefit money on fags and there was no food in the house. Zoe hadn't eaten for a long time, so she stopped off at Raj's newsagent. All the kids from school went to the shop before and after school. As Zoe never received pocket money, she would only come into the shop and gaze around at the sweets, but exceptionally kind-hearted Raj often took pity on the girl and gave her some free ones. Only out-of-date ones, though, or those with a hint of mould, but she was still grateful. Sometimes she would be allowed a quick suck on a mint before Raj asked her to spit it out so he could put it back in the packet to sell to another customer. This morning Zoe was excessively hungry and was hoping Raj would help. Ding! Went the bell as the door opened. "Ah, Miss Zoe, my favourite customer." Raj was a jolly man who always had a smile on his face, even if you told him to shop. His shop was on fire. "Hello, Raj," said Zoe sheepishly. "I don't have any money again today, I'm afraid." "Not a penny?" Sorry, nothing." "Oh dear, but you do look hungry. A quick nibble on one of these chocolate bars, perhaps." He picked up a bar and unwrapped it for her. "Just try and eat around the edge, please. Then I can put it back in the wrapper and back on for sale. The next customer will never know." Zoe nibbled greedily on the chocolate bar, her front teeth munching off the edge like a little rodent. "You look very sad, child," said Raj. He was always good at spotting when things were wrong. He could be a lot more caring than parents or teachers. "Have you been crying?" Zoe looked up from her nibbling for a moment, her eyes still stung with tears. "No, I'm fine, Raj, just hungry." "No, Miss Zoe, I can see something's wrong." He leaned on the counter and smiled supportively at her. Zoe took a deep breath. "My hamster died. Oh, Miss Zoe, I'm so sorry. Thank you. You poor thing. A few years ago I had a pet tadpole and it died, and I know how you feel. Zoe looked surprised. A pet tadpole? She had never heard of anything having one as a pet. Yes, I called him Poppadom. One night I left him swimming around in the fishbowl. When I woke up the next morning, there was this naughty frog there. He must have eaten Poppadom. Zoe couldn't quite believe what she was hearing. Raj? Yes. The newsagent wiped a tear from his eye and slit on the sleeve of his cardigan. Sorry, I always get quite emotional when I think about Poppadom. Raj, tadpoles turn into frogs. Don't be stupid, child. They do. So that frog was Poppadom. I know you were just making me feel better, but I know it's not true. Zoe rolled her eyes. Now tell me about your hamster. He was special. I trained him to breakdance. Wow, what was his name? Gingernut, said Zoe sadly. My dream was that one day he would be on TV. Raj thought for a moment, and Henny looked straight at Zoe's eyes. You must never give up on your dreams, young lady. But Gingernut is dead. But your dream doesn't need to die. Dreams never die. If you can train a hamster to break dance, Miss Zoe, just imagine what you could do. I suppose. Raj looked at his watch. But as much as I would like to, we can't stand here chatting all day. Zoe. She loved Raj, even if he didn't know a tadpole turned into a frog, and never wanted to leave his messy shop. You better off going to school now, young lady. You don't want to be late. I suppose so, mumbled Zoe. Sometimes she wondered why she didn't just bunk off like so many others. Raj beckoned with his big hands. Now, Miss Zoe, give me the chocolate bar, please, and I can put it back up for sale. Zoe looked at her hands. It had gone. She was so hungry that she devoured every last morsel and didn't save one tiny little square. I'm so sorry, Raj. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. Oh, I know, said the man kindly. Just put it back in the wrapper. I can sell it as a special diet chocolate or something, or for someone fat like me. Oh, good idea, said the little girl. Zoe went over to the door and turned around to face the newsagent. Thank you, by the way, not just for the chocolate, but for all the advice. Both are free of charge for you any time, Miss Zoe. Now, run along. Raj's words went round and round in Miss Zoe's mind all day at school, and when she returned home to the flat, she felt the same sense of absence. Gingernut was gone. He was gone forever. Days went by, and weeks, and then months. She never forgot about Gingernut. He was such a special little hamster, and he brought her so much joy in the world of pain. From the moment he died, Zoe felt as if she was walking through a storm. Very slowly, as the days and weeks passed, the rain became a little lighter, though the sun still had not shone, until one night, months later, when something completely unexpected happened. Zoe was lying in bed after another insufferable day at school at the hands of the bullies and the dreaded Tina Trots in particular. They were shouting from next door as usual. Then out of the brief moment, from quiet in the night came a tiny sound. It was so soft at first it was almost impeccable. Then it became louder and louder. It sounded like nibbling. Am I dreaming? Thought Zoe. Am I having one of those strange dreams and I'm lying awake in bed? She opened her eyes. Now, no, she wasn't dreaming. Something small was moving in her bedroom. And a mad moment, Zoe wondered if it could have been a ghost of Gingernut. Lately she had found a couple of what seemed like droppings in her room. No, don't be crazy, she told herself. Must be funny shaped clumps of dust, that's all. At first, all she could see was a tiny shadow shape in the corner of the room. She tiptoed out of her bed to have a closer look. It was Little and dirty and a tad smelly. The dusty floorboards creaked a little under her weight. The tiny thing turned around. It was a rat. And there it is. And tomorrow I'll read chapter 6.